What's going on, YouTube? Chris here. I want to bring y'all guys just a quick little crypto live stream here. I wanted to go over Bitcoin, Ethereum, maybe even Litecoin, but I also wanted you guys to pick maybe 2 or 3 different coins that you'd be interested in going over today. Like I said, I just want this to be quick for us. Don't want to drag it out, but there's some important things that I wanted to look at with you on the bigger scale. So what we're looking at here and what I wanted to start out reading to you guys, this is Phishing for the Bottom. And this will give some time for people to get in here because I just want to make sure my volume and everything's working. But this should give us a little bit of time here. What's up, Crypto Chick? Are you able to hear me? I'm just trying to get this right. What's going on, guys? Let me know if you can hear me. If someone just says, yep, sounds good. See, we're getting some people in here. We got 23 people in here. Okay, good. Well, I wanted to start reading this. I think this is important because in the crypto space, many of us have got into this habit before. And I was reading out of a book. It's called Using Technical Analysis, and it's by Clifford Pistolese, and it says Phishing for the Bottom. And I wanted to read this, and we'll get into some coins. It says, phishing for the bottom is a phrase used to describe an attempt by an investor to guess where a stock price will stop falling and start rising again. He or she places an order to buy at that point. This approach is appealing because it could be a way to buy at such a low price. However, once a stock makes a major top and starts dropping, the price usually goes down much farther than it seems reasonable. Panic sellers, desperate to cash out, sell their shares at the market and force the price lower and lower. In this type of situation, you can't predict how low the price will actually go. A stock that once sold above $100 per share looks like a bargain at $50, but when the price continues to decline 40, 30, 20, 10, or even lower, $50 is no longer a bargain like it appeared. The problem with bottom fishing is there's almost always a valid reason when a stock price goes into a deep decline. Purchasing a stock that has dropped a long way only makes sense if you learn something which may indicate that a recovery in the company's prospects lies directly ahead. And then it talks about chapter 5, reversal formations. And that's why it's so important to wait for those reversals, wait for confirmation. You may not get the absolute lowest price, but you won't buy something at $50 and have it go all the way down to $5. And now you're screwed basically just because it was $100 before. And we saw that with Bitcoin. It went from $20,000 all the way down to $3,000 when everyone said it was going to go up to $100,000 once we broke 20,000. So you always have to be careful. And what's going on, guys? See, we got some people in here. Good in Florida. All right, sounds good. Guys, we'll get into Bitcoin here. So we're going to start with Bitcoin. We're at $9,079. And the main thing that I want to point out here, we're going to be looking at Bitcoin on the 1-day time frame. And what you can see, we still have not broken out this red downtrend line. This is the main one, guys. This is our macro downtrend that we've been in since the top in 2017. So all 18, all 19, and half of 2020. So we have basically been in a bear market for 2.5 years, a macro bear market from when we hit our high up here. But what you're seeing is we're almost getting in one of these symmetrical triangles. We're having the lower highs here, but we're having higher lows. And that's why we have to be careful, because if this is a lower high here and we start dropping back down, guys, we could go back down into this area. It would still be a higher low if we can stay up above roughly about that $3,900, we're called $4,000. And we could still chop back and forth in here. But the most important thing is that we can break out of this top. And this is where we need to get the buying pressure right now. We're at such a critical situation because if we take a look at this 50 moving average, guys, just to give you a little key here, when we're in uptrends, just like back in here, you always want to stay up above this 50 moving average in pink. You can see once we lost it, we had massive downtrends over here. Once we lost it, we had massive downtrends. And now you can see we're getting comfortable trading below this. We're below the 20 EMA in purple, and we're below our 50. Now, we still have this 200 that could act as support if we do want to fall down to that area, and that's going to be at around $8,337. But this is just such a sticky area because we still have all this macro resistance over top of us, and that's what we need to pay attention to. And if we take a look at Trading View and we get into this here, you can see how it's switched that sell signal. Now we're looking at a 14 sell, 9 neutral, and a 5 buy. So that's where in the short term here, look at all the moving averages, guys, the 5, the 10s, the 20, we're throwing those sell signals. And even in our oscillators, we're neutral and we have sell signals. So this is why we have to be so careful in this spot, because we don't want to have all of a sudden we break down from here, guys, and we're looking down at a price at $5,800 when you're buying up around $9,000. This is such a sticky area. If you're not in the market, I would definitely wait. I would rather buy when we get a true trend line break out of the top here on heavy volume than try to jump in now and have it potentially go down 20 or 30% if we do have a big dump to the downside. So be very careful. I would say capital preservation is more important right now than trying to get in at this price when we have been rejected up here for over a month now. This rejection started back in May 5th, 2020, and we've really just been moving sideways. And that's why it's so hard to get these videos out, because there hasn't been a lot of change. I want to keep you guys up to date, but there has not been a lot of change here, and it's something we need to pay attention to. Because guys, how many times, and you let me know in the comments here as I'm back looking at this, how many times have we jumped in and said, all right, this is the spot, and then you wake up the next day and it's down 20 or 30%. And this is where it's just flashing those signs right now. We have 10,000 as overhead resistance. We have 10,500 as overhead resistance. And then getting out of this overall red macro downtrend is what we need to do desperately. And dollar cost averaging, guys, truly, if that's your plan, I have no problem with dollar cost averaging. I have some coins that I dollar cost average with just from the past. But you need to be aware that this is a speculative market and things don't always have to go as they seem. Everyone said after the halving, Bitcoin would be at what? $20,000 or whatever. And you see us sitting here at 9,000. So this is where you have to be careful. But if it's a project you have confidence in and it's money that you can afford to lose, if it does go to the downside, then absolutely find a project, slowly dollar cost average in, build a position for the next cycle that we have, for the next bull run that we potentially could have coming up here. Yeah, and that's it too. I mean, just having the patience as well to say, you know what, I believe in this. This is something that I believe can do well, and I'm going to slowly dollar cost average in. I have no problem with that. For me, though, I like to trade the swing since it moves in these trends, and I want to follow the trends, whether it be to the upside or the downside. So guys, next one we're going to get into is Ethereum here. So that's Bitcoin. Let's take a look at ETH, because ETH's going to be the driver of the altcoins, and that's why it's so important to always take a look at Ethereum as well. And guys, this is more like the macro view. We're just stepping out. I wanted to show you my chart here so you can see back in this area. And this is why I like patterns as well. This was a symmetrical triangle. The trend was up. We had a nice break to the upside there. And a lot of times you can call tops by the big swells of volumes, tops and bottoms. And then over here was a bottom on climax volume. That sometimes can give you that key that you're at a top or at a bottom, is looking at that. But you see out of this downtrend, once we set this first higher low right here, that would have been the spot to potentially get in, because that trend was changing to the upside. And then we had a falling wedge here that we broke out to the upside. But right now for Ethereum, it's doing a little bit better than Bitcoin. If we take a look at this, we're still trading right at this 50 moving average. We don't want to lose that. And we're also holding this support of around $216, which I talked to you guys about. $216 is a pretty important area, because if we break down through that, I would look down to this 200 moving average for support. And that's going to be at about $188. And last night, as I was reading in my book, guys, price action is the key. I used to pay way too much attention to indicators and all that, which I still use them to mark tops and bottoms, but really looking at this price action, looking at the candle formations, looking at the trend line breaks, that's what I believe I've been the most successful with. But Ethereum, we're bouncing between $216 and that $252. That's going to be the range that we're dealing with. And if we pull out our stock RSI, you can see we're actually down here in that oversold territory. We're at 11 and 8 right now. So that's why moving sideways here, if we could, since we've cooled down so much, maybe this is the area to start breaking up over top of that 252, but it's probably going to depend on Bitcoin as well. And if we throw in another one that I find important, it's going to be our momentum. And momentum right here is starting to move a little bit to the upside. And you see, we've just been a little bit more flat, which is normal when we're just moving sideways or we're ranging like that. But for Ethereum, it's just being patient. It's just waiting to see if we're going to hold that 216 or if we're going to break up above that $252. And right now, guys, like I said, it's just tough. This is a tough spot when you're moving sideways. No one can tell you exactly what's going to happen, because we're waiting on the whales. We're waiting for the market makers to push this market in the direction that they want to push it. So that's going to be Ethereum there. But yeah, guys, also you could do a hodl stack and then just do a little trading one. Like I said, when I started trading and I started learning this stuff, I started with $100 positions, $500 positions, play a little $300 position and see if you're right. Mark stuff down. What's your risk to reward? Are you with the trend? Are you trying to trade with the trend? That's going to help you out. You never want to go against the trend. Okay, unless you know what you're doing. And that takes a lot of time and patience to be able to go counter trend. And you have to know the right times to get out or you can get crushed. Okay. So guys, that is, we did Bitcoin, we did Ethereum, and then I want you to just put down here, what are the next two? I got time for two more. You guys let me know whatever has the most votes down there, we'll do. Whether it be Digibyte, Omisego, Litecoin, XRP, whatever you'd like to see, put it down there for me, and we'll try to do the best we can. And I'll give you guys a couple seconds here just to put some down. Because think about it. I mean, also, guys, when even like Litecoin and all these coins, you know, Litecoin was $350. Would anyone ever imagine that it'd be back to $40, or Bitcoin made it all the way down to $3,000, or Ethereum when it was up at $1,400 to go down into the 80s? I mean, guys, this market to both the upside and the downside can get so overextended. Just so overextended. Okay, I'm seeing some Litecoin. Got a couple Cardanos. Digibyte. So guys, this is what we'll do here. Since you've been putting that down, we'll go Digibyte and we'll do ADA today. And then tomorrow's video, we'll try to get back to the Litecoin, XRP, that type of stuff. So let's go ADA and Digibyte next. Take a look at that. So let's start with ADA. This one I haven't looked at too much. I'm going to try Kraken. I always want to find the best or the most amount of data for us. All right. So when looking at this here, the area of overhead resistance that ADA needs to break through is going to be that 0.090850. So, you know, this could be one of those things where it turns into a flag pattern. If Ethereum and Bitcoin can get going, we had that pull up. Now we've just been moving sideways. It'd be nice to get another move to the upside if we can get over top of that resistance. But you can see back over here, this is the resistance that I'm talking about. We need to get up over top of that. And that's where this stalled out. You see, when this stalled out, it's right around that area. So when people say support and resistance areas don't work, guys, everyone's looking to support and resistance, even the longer term investors. And you can also see where we wicked down to try to find support. This was previous resistance. We went up, we wicked back down to it, tested it, and then we tried to go back up again. But what's nice with ADA, it's ahead of Bitcoin yet again. It's up above its 20 EMA in purple. So we're still fighting, trying to hold over that. We're trying to hold our 50. We have had a golden cross of our 50 over top of our 200, and we're holding our 200. And there's a little bit of volume coming in here, and you can see we had a bit of a double bottom on our momentum. So ADA is not looking too bad here. It's just paying attention to Bitcoin, paying attention to Ethereum, because ADA could be set up perfectly to make a move to the upside. But if Bitcoin dumps, it's going to drag it down with it most likely. So when we look at this, guys, it's kind of correlating with the technical analysis I just gave you. 2 sell, 9 neutral, 17 buy. So you can see how this is ahead of the other coins right now. We got a lot of neutrals, have a few sell in terms of the oscillators, moving average. We have all buys all the way throughout from our 5 all the way down to our 200. So that is impressive that we're holding that. And you can see our moving average right there, 0 sell, 1 neutral, and a 16 buy. So that's definitely ahead of some of the other coins there. We're just going to have to pay attention to see if this move can continue if the rest of the market continues. But if Bitcoin moves to the upside, this one really could blast off hard, guys, if it gets over top of this overhead resistance around that 0.099374. Okay. So that's going to be ADA. Let me know if you guys are in ADA as well. Yeah, it's holding strong. ADA is holding strong against Bitcoin. Absolutely. And then we'll do some Digibyte here. We'll take a look at that. And also, guys, if you get some from this, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Try to do live streams from time to time. I just want to see if people like it or if you like the regular videos better. Let me know down low, and we'll try to throw these in more if you enjoy them. Then we'll go to Digibyte. All right, so let's try Digibyte with Binance. That's not enough. Chart. I think Bittrex will probably give us the best one. Let's give that a try. Okay, so with Digibyte here, what's nice, guys, we're sitting at that 2 cents here, looking good. You can see our buy range really deep over in here, and we'll get into all that. So what we're looking for for Digibyte, also, this potentially, guys, this could be a massive bull flag if it plays out and Ethereum and Bitcoin want to get moving to the upside. You can see we had a massive pull, stick of volume that brought us up. And now if you drew your trend lines here, we're almost in a symmetrical triangle. And I'll actually do that for us quick. And symmetrical triangles, they're those neutral patterns. We're just going to do a rough symmetrical triangle here. But with symmetrical triangles, they're neutral. Okay. Now, about roughly what my book says is 54% of the time they'll break with the trend, and the trend has been up. So you have a 54% chance of this breaking to the upside. And what we would need to get over top of is roughly around that 0.0253803 is going to be the overhead resistance. In terms of support, overall, we want to stay up above this 200 moving average. We got up above all these. You can see our moving averages has crossed our 20 over top of our 250 over the 200. That's all been looking good. We have a stock cross to the upside. Our momentum's been up, but what we need is more volume. You can see the volume's a little bit low here, and that's typical with symmetrical triangles. Whenever you're moving sideways, the volume's going to drop off, and then whichever way the whale wants to move this market, it's going to be that big stick of volume, whether it be to the upside or the downside. So that's something we do need to pay attention to. You can see we have a strong buy for Digibyte, 1 sell, 9 neutral, 18 buy. And guys, this is still, though, where I would tell you to be careful, because if the other coins, if Bitcoin, Ethereum dump, it's not going to matter what Digibyte's doing. So just be prepared. But it is nice to see that Digibyte is doing so much better in terms of Bitcoin. It's doing really well trying to make this move to the upside and continue this strong move to the upside. That's what we're looking for there. Okay. And I see some people are liking the live stream, so that's awesome. All right. Well, guys, that's where I'm going to have to go right now. Got to run to my job. I just had a little break in between here, but I just want to tell you, be calm, be patient. I appreciate you all being here with me today, guys, and God bless you all. Take care. All right.